There's an old saying, when one door closes, another opens. But nobody tells you what happens in the hallway, the part where you keep staring at the door that rejected you, unable to see any path beyond it. Because rejection rarely feels like redirection when it happens. It feels like proof that you were not capable, not lovable, not meant for the life you imagined. But what if the door did not close because you were unworthy? What if it closed because you had reached the end of that direction? Maybe there is still one moment you return to, one message you wish had said something different, one person you thought would choose you, one opportunity that seemed like the beginning of everything. You remember how quickly the future disappeared. Before that moment you could see it clearly, the conversations you would have, the places you would go, the version of you who would finally feel proud, secure, and wanted. Then someone said no, and suddenly you were grieving a life that had never actually happened. You called it failure, you called it bad timing, you called it proof that life was moving for everyone except you. You watched other people receive what you had asked for. You wondered what they had that you did not. You replayed every conversation. You searched for the mistake. You imagined a better answer, a better version of yourself, and a different ending. Because if you could find the exact thing you did wrong, maybe the rejection would stop feeling random. But some doors do not close because you failed to deserve them. Sometimes they close because the path has reached its limit. If the job rejected you, maybe that decision was not a measurement of your potential. Maybe it was one company choosing for one role on one day. If the person left, maybe their departure was not proof that you are difficult to love. Maybe they could only meet you where they had learned to meet themselves. If your plan collapsed, maybe the time was not wasted. Maybe it showed you what the plan could never give you. If your friends stopped making room for you, maybe you were not becoming unlikable. Maybe you were becoming harder to keep inside the version of you they understood. If nobody noticed your work, maybe your voice was still becoming clear. You saw a verdict, but maybe it was only information. You saw the end of the road, but maybe it was the end of one route. You saw your future being taken away, but maybe the future you imagined had become too small for the person you were becoming. This does not mean every rejection is secretly good. It does not mean fate planned your pain. It does not mean the universe removed something because something better was guaranteed. Some rejection is unfair. Some comes from prejudice, fear, carelessness, or another person's limitations. But even an unfair rejection does not deserve permanent control over your direction. Because rejection is an event. The identity you build around it is a choice your mind makes afterward. Your brain does not like uncertainty. It would rather blame you than admit it cannot see the future. Self-blame creates the illusion of control. If everything happened because you were not enough, then becoming enough might guarantee that it never happens again. So you start editing yourself. You become quieter. You ask for less. You hide the parts that were not chosen. You try to become impossible to reject. But the more you reshape yourself for acceptance, the further you move from anyone who could accept you honestly. And that may be what the rejection was revealing. Not that you were unworthy, but that too much of your worth had been placed inside someone else's decision. You did not only want the job, you wanted proof that your ability mattered. You did not only want the relationship, you wanted proof that you were lovable. You did not only want the invitation, you wanted proof that you belonged. You did not only want the plan to work, you wanted permission to believe your life was finally beginning. The rejection removed the route, but your mind confused the route with the destination. So when the route closed, it felt as if everything behind it had disappeared. But love is larger than one person. Purpose is larger than one position. Belonging is larger than one room. Your life is larger than the future you were able to imagine from where you stood. Sometimes rejection interrupts a life you had already outgrown. You may have been trying so hard to be chosen that you never asked what being chosen would cost. Maybe the relationship only worked when your needs stayed small. Maybe the career looked impressive but required a life you did not want. Maybe the group welcomed you only when you remained easy to understand. Maybe the dream belonged to the younger version of you who thought achievement would finally silence self-doubt. You could not see the cost because acceptance was all you were looking at. Then the door closed, and for a while, all you could see was the door. You did not see the energy you had spent knocking. You did not see the other paths you had ignored. You did not see how long you had been waiting for someone else to authorize your life. That is why redirection rarely feels hopeful at first. The old future had detail, the new one is still empty. The old future had memories, fantasies, and promises attached to it. The new one looks like uncertainty. So you return to the old path, not because it was necessarily right, but because it was familiar. You would rather grieve a known future than walk toward one you cannot picture yet. But a new direction does not arrive as certainty. It begins as one small movement away from the place that stops choosing you. You revise the work instead of rereading the rejection. You contact someone new instead of monitoring the person who left. You build the smaller version instead of waiting for permission to create the perfect one. You enter a different room without needing the old room to regret excluding you. Most turning points do not announce themselves while they are happening. They look like a different application. A boundary you finally keep, a conversation you stop chasing, a morning when you realize you did not check whether they came back. This is how rejection becomes redirection. Not because the rejection contained a perfect plan, not because pain automatically creates growth. It becomes redirection when you stop asking the closed door to explain your worth. It becomes redirection when you recover the parts of yourself you left waiting outside it. It becomes redirection when the energy once spent proving yourself is used to build something that can hold you. One day you may look back at the ending differently. The message will still have said no. The person will still have left. The opportunity will still belong to someone else. But you will no longer be standing where it happened. You may realize the rejection did not save you by itself. You saved yourself by refusing to remain where it left you. The door did not reveal your entire future. It only interrupted the future you thought you needed. The loss remained real, but so did everything in you that the rejection could not take. Your ability to begin again. Your capacity to be loved elsewhere. Your potential to become someone no single decision could define. Maybe rejection is not the opposite of progress. Maybe it is the moment your life stops asking for permission. A new direction is difficult to recognize, while grief is still facing backward. Keep moving until the path begins to feel like yours. Have you experienced redirection? Or you knew that you were experiencing the same things mentioned, but didn't know it was a redirection until you watched the video? Comment down below if you've experienced rejection and you thought it was a bad thing, but later you realized it was redirection all along. I will read and try to reply to your comments down below. If this helped you, please subscribe for more videos like this.